Welcome, you beautiful people. It's podcast number 3 of the Sandbag Show with Kendall and William. We got some good content today, so
Yes,
let's get started. Hello, you beautiful people. We're in. Podcast number 3. We got some exciting news. Thank you so much to an old teacher of ours, our language teacher. She's really awesome, incredible teacher, but also she crochets. I think it's crochet. I think that's what that is.
I'm not gonna say yes because I don't want to be wrong.
Okay.
She makes
Either
stuff.
way.
She makes stuff.
She makes stuff. We will add her here in a minute. I'm going to pull that up as far as her social where you can find her. But let's take a look at our first little fan art or whatever. I don't know. Dude, we got a little sand boy.
He's a little sandbag boy.
Look at him.
He's got a Shaco. It doesn't
He's
fit right,
the
but he's
cutest
trying.
thing ever.
He's trying.
I love him. I love him a lot. And he's fluffy. He's cute.
That's what I like to see.
Really, we just need some safety pins to put on the Shaco, but I mean it's Gucci. I like it.
need no safety pins. Now I can take it off because in case he gets hot.
And now he's just
Not hot.
little baby pillow for you.
Sandbag, you mean?
Yeah, awesome. Such good material. We love it. We're super excited. She gave it to us for free, so look at that.
She's
Our
a
production value has just gone up.
She's a blessing.
She is. She really is. So thank you so much. If you want to find out more from this woman, if you want some custom stuff, if you want some stuff that she's already made, you can go to j.chandolf, so CHANDALF, at Instagram. You can DM her. You can look at all of the stuff that she has. Really good stuff, honestly.
Really good stuff.
A lot of wacky stuff, a lot of things from pop culture. Super good. All handmade, all made here, I guess, in Chattanooga. Good stuff. That being said, speaking of the podcast, so I'm going back over podcast number 1, and I'm like, all right, what could we do better? So
Right.
I'm looking at the comments. Some pretty good ones, just some whatever, normal YouTube comments. My favorite one has got to be the review that we got in our YouTube section. Have you seen the review?
I have not. I looked at some comments for sure.
It's good. It's good. The only thing he said was, I don't know if it was a he, it was a person. It said 1 out of 1 podcast rating. And I was like, that's
Nice.
gotta, 1 out of 1. 1 out of 1.
I would say I'm satisfied.
Yeah. Because it's
I've hit the top.
yes, facts. You are supreme. It's 1 of 1.
Best podcast.
I don't know why, but that's just such a good, you can't go wrong with 1 of 1. Are you okay over there?
I'm trying. He's trying.
Messing with the sandbag boy.
We're trying.
We'll figure that out. But
I'll
yeah,
hang
man.
him. I'll hang him eventually, and he'll just sit right here next to me.
We'll just tie him to the ceiling.
So when I'm looking, it's like I'm actually just gonna talk to the sandbag right here next to me.
We hope to get some more stuff, mascots. If you want to send us anything, I know we keep saying this every podcast, but really, we love. I mean, I don't know. I'm all down with
we love when you send us stuff because
Facts.
it just makes easy content.
we get free stuff. No, really, if you got some fan art you want to make, if you got some music for us, just literally send us all of it. If you got stuff that you want us to do,
Definitely.
yeah, we're all open. We want to.
If you just want to chime in and say, "Hey, man," we're checking all socials.
Or if you want to rate us 1 of 1. Yeah, I
or
don't know.
0 of 1.
Yes. 0.5 of 1. Really, I don't know. The band community, the music community, we're just a ton of family. It's really awesome. So we appreciate all of you. So thank you. I don't know. As much as we're on this hype of this is a good podcast, I'm struggle bussing over here. And I want to shove a middle finger your way, mainly because I was making fun of you a lot.
Oh, I know what this is about.
For a long time. And you got revenge. Inadvertently, not in the same way because you're still super dumb. But
I like to think of myself as not dumb.
I now have poison ivy.
My friend over here has poison ivy, guys.
Yeah.
How did you get poison ivy, Kendall?
I was working with my brother. He's got a land saving business, and for some reason, okay, here's the thing.
That sounds like a lot smarter of a way to get poison ivy.
Exactly.
Than the way that I got poison ivy.
Yes, and that's where I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Mainly, I got poison ivy, and I'm not allergic to it, so it doesn't really spread anywhere. It just stays in one place. So apparently, I was all up in this because it's all over me.
Yeah.
It's on my stomach. It's on my arms. Like, I'm coming in here with, like, lotion all over me.
The way it works is
Or more like cream, whatever.
after the oils get on you, after you shower and wash them off, it no longer spreads anymore past that point. But if you get the oils on you and you don't wash them off, it can spread to wherever you touch.
It's stupid.
It
I
is
was
pretty
literally like the first night I was just like because it was like a 2-day delay before anything happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like shoving like Ajax on like a freaking towel, and I'm literally just scrubbing the crap out of my it's awful. It's so bad.
Awful.
Screw poison ivy. Now, that being said, William Anger is super dumb. You know why? Guess what? One, we know we quit Red Lobster. We know that happened. But you want to tell us why you got poison ivy?
Because I hate Red Lobster.
This
okay,
man.
I'm sorry, Red Lobster. If you ever hear this, hopefully you do, because that means you're listening. But
be our sponsor.
Dude, I would so love for you to sponsor us.
I hate
pretty
you
much,
so much.
I had a double shift at Red Lobster on a Monday, and I was at Kendall's house on a Friday, I believe. It was like 2 days before my shift, so to speak.
Okay.
Well, 2 days, and it was the night before, so 3 days technically. Anyway, it doesn't
Whatever.
matter. We're working outside. We're going to start a fire, and it's going terribly. All the wood is wet. That's a whole other story. We failed completely at starting the fire, but as we're starting the fire and
You're
getting
trying
wood,
to grab stuff.
my friend Kendall is like, "Hey, I'd watch out over there. There's poison ivy in that area," and I was like, "In that area?" And he was like, "In that area," and within seconds, I was in that area.
You said to me, "Hey, do you think I could call out of work if I have
For
poison
poison
ivy?" And I said, "Maybe."
I'm a server at
Probably
a
not.
restaurant. If I have it like on my hands and face, I was like, "You think no work with poison ivy?"
I told this man, "Hey, don't touch that tree because I know what you're thinking." Guess what? You were not only did you just like touch it, but you ripped it off, and I was looking at you, and you were rubbing it all over yourself. I hate you so much.
Not on my body. Not on my body. I was like,
Are you serious?
I said just arms and a little
This
bit of.
dude took this massive ass leaf and was just like covering himself.
And I was like, I just want my arms, right? And this is before I knew about the whole like the oil spread thing. And I obviously
Again,
knew the oil spread. Okay, I'm not just like dumb.
You're dumb. You're dumb. There's no coming back.
I
from
obviously knew. So when I get inside, I do wash my arms and hands off. But
After
the damage,
I literally yelled at you to do so.
the damage had been done, and I have pictures, but I actually didn't know we were going to be talking about this. I would prefer
I don't want
not
pictures.
to.
I don't
But
want
it
pictures.
was all over my face, down the side, and the reason I ended up going to the hospital, turns out I would not have gotten out of work for just poison ivy because we're already covering up super, super well because like I have masks and everything.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get out of work, but it like was in my eye and like face, and so they were like, "Yeah, you like won't get tips, so you won't make money, so it's like you're useless." Because like
They did it because of aesthetic?
well, they were like anywhere that can be covered up, you're covering it up. But it was
Dude,
like on my eye, and they were like, "Yeah, we can't like unless you have an eye patch handy, just stay home."
Okay, let's be real. Like, that's
By the way,
another reason to leave Red Lobster. I never knew that.
side note.
Okay.
I didn't even I did it because I didn't want to work my double on Monday. As Kendall said, it took like 3 days to show up anywhere.
Yep.
So I worked my double on Monday and my shift on Tuesday. And I only at this time I had lowered my availability because I was moving into my house. Well, I was starting to move into my house and do some renovating in the house I was moving into. And so my availability was only like 4 days a week. So I worked half of my whole work week and only missed actually 2 days for this terrible poison ivy all over my face. It was the worst in the world. But I set out and I had a goal. I reached my goal, and I'm alive right now. Tell me where the problem is. Tell me.
We're going to move on.
It cost me $22 though for steroids.
$22 in the bag, and what, like a week of agony?
Agony?
You should have seen this dude. We had a meeting about this podcast, and he came in, and he was so doped up that you were just all over the place.
I will say I was pretty doped up the first night because they give you that steroid shot and the Benadryl shot. Because Benadryl already, when you're taking it throughout the day, you're sleepy. But the shot hit me like a freaking train. Like, it was like I wasn't tired, and then I was tired.
Dude.
There's no in between.
He's slacking on the job. And then, two, he's just dumb. He's leaving his job. All bad.
Speaking of
You're
leaving,
so dumb.
Speaking of leaving my job, I start my new job Monday. It is a Thursday when we're recording this.
It's Red Lobster, but in a different area.
It is not Red Lobster. It is commercial painting, 7 to 3 every day. Let's go.
I don't like you.
And I can guarantee you that no matter how much poison ivy I have, the buildings don't care. They're going to get me every time. Sorry about that, Red Lobster.
You know what? I don't even care. I'm so mad, too, because it's like, I'm not going to complain because I don't want to. Yeah, I do have it. But it's just the agony of like, okay, if I had bumps all over my body and this is how I looked, I wouldn't care. Like, I have scars everywhere, and I look like garbage.
Look at your neck.
Yeah, I got a big one on my neck. We'll talk about that later. But, like, if I had that, like, I wouldn't care. But the fact that I can't do anything about it and it just has to leave on its own, bro, I don't like it. I'm literally just going to take a knife and just cut all this open.
That is
I don't even know.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
Oh, you want to talk dumb?
If I had a poll that it was like, which one would you rather do? Shave your skin off with a knife or rub poison ivy on your arms? Anybody who doesn't pick poison ivy is also dumb.
We're 12 minutes into this podcast, and now we're fighting. This is a bad podcast. Look at there.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't handle you.
We're 3 episodes in, and we're already... third time's the charm. We've struck out still. All right, well, let's get into some other stuff. Recently, we've been playing some games.
Yes.
The Raft. Is it called The Raft, or is it just called Raft? I don't know. You can buy it on Steam. It's like, I don't know, $10 or something. It's like a craft survival game.
Yeah, it's
on the
a
open
survival
ocean.
game where you make a raft and
you just survive. It's a pretty good game.
But
that's not why we're here.
It's one of those games where it's like, when you play it by yourself, you're like, this isn't fun. But then you add 2 of your homies in there, and you're like,
and it's baller.
This is
It's a lot of
world.
fun. Yeah, I think so. We've been playing that together, and then on my end, I've been grinding The Last of Us 2. Now, we're going to talk about a lot of disgusting, violent games here in a second. Please use the rating, buy appropriately, and if you're young, parents. Okay, that being said, let's move on.
If you're young, parents.
Let's move on. Both of these games have a pretty solid use of music. The Raft, you're just vibing the whole time.
It's like Minecraft.
Yes, you're on the open ocean. You're like pulling crap up. You're making stuff, and then you're just vibing the whole time.
It's like when you're not. If you really sit there and think about the music, it has that like smidgen of sadness. It's like just
a little bit, you know. And it's just like you're.
It's not even sadness. It's more of like. It just makes you get into somewhere in your feels, just somewhere in there.
Yeah,
you're
it's pretty good.
It's serene, I would say.
I think so. And then on top of that, The Last of Us 2 makes me feel like garbage. It is a very emotional game, story-based, and honestly, like, it's rough. It's a really violent game. It's a rough game. But on top of that, it's just like, it makes me feel like garbage. It's an emotional roller coaster, and the music does not help. Plus, it's a horror game, and so like every corner you walk around, it's just like they just add like a little bit of something, and it makes me want to throw up.
It's actually impressive / like you don't realize how much music affects the tone of what's going on.
Yes.
And not only in games, like you can take a movie scene or even a video game scene and change the music, and the whole point of the scene is completely changed. Like,
yes,
it doesn't just change the feel; it changed like what you think is going on.
Agreed.
In the whole scene, it's incredible. Like soundtrack is like so important, but at the same time, it's so underappreciated.
Yes, like for horror is a great example because if you turn off the music, nothing's scary anymore.
You're bored.
Literally. Like when you're walking down a hallway, like you're just thinking of like imagery when like in the dark. But you're also thinking of those like scary soundtracks and like those noises and those terrible feelings. The Last of Us 2 does that very well. That being said, we want to talk about video game soundtracks because good God, there's a ton of them and they're incredible. especially recently. Well, one, just because of games have gotten better, but also there's actual composers out there who are putting time, effort, and a ton of money into just good material. And if you aren't listening to video game soundtracks, you're just wrong. You're just totally wrong. Like, there's such a viable piece of music. Like, music soundtracks are great. Like, Sherlock Holmes, Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings, Howard Shore, Hans Zimmer.
You mean movies? Movie soundtracks.
Did I not say that?
You said music soundtracks.
Yes, movie soundtracks are incredible, and they tell a story. Video game soundtracks are almost even more in depth, personally, because not only that, but you're in the action, and you are also a part of this.
I personally and sincerely like really, really like movie and game soundtracks because I think that like concerts in themselves, just like movements of music that have nothing to do with like a certain movie or whatever,
yes,
they can tell a story.
They can.
And I can imagine and hear or see whatever story they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
But when a composer, especially a really good composer, makes a piece of music for a movie or for a game, then it's literally just adding the images that music is supposed to create in my head.
Yes.
And it's already there.
And even if you just see the concept art or if you just see a little bit of gameplay, you get this vibe, and then you listen to the soundtrack alone, and you have the whole game in your head.
Definitely.
Yes. And it is really, really incredible.
You can tell yourself the story of the game in your own way just listening to the music.
I agree.
It's crazy.
I agree.
Like
I love it.
If you had no idea what the plot of the game was, like you could like get an idea of what's going to happen.
Yeah, facts.
It's awesome.
And just like the feel and where the story is going.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
high and low points.
Yeah. Like old classical music has, it's almost like music now. There's telling like a very 3-minute story. They're telling a story that's just tied up in this, but with video game soundtracks and movie soundtracks, they're creating a world.
Yeah.
And you are shoving yourself into that world. With movies, you're watching something and you're almost like a bystander. But with a video game soundtrack, you're in there.
Definitely.
And they're putting that emphasis of you being a part of this world, and they're just making the music around you so good. Notably, one that I have been grinding for like so long, God of War. Another violent game. Again, discretion advised. But good Lord, just listen to the soundtrack. It's incredible. It's about the newest one, God of War 4, Norse gods, Norse mythology, with a hint of with like a hint of Greek, because of the game. It's incredible. It is, the opening soundtrack is the best.
The soundtrack is actually all I've seen of the game. And it's pretty good.
It's so incredible. Like, they create the world around you. You're almost feeling the story without even hearing it.
Yeah.
And like you said, you can in your mind hear, just with the title of the song, you're able to put together these pieces of what this game is.
Yeah, like I said,
so emotional.
Like, you could write a book with like using the soundtrack of like the music. You could write a book and like tell a story, and your story could be completely different than what the actual story of the game was, but they'll be like the same basis and genre. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And what's fun is that you can even, just with those small little titles and nothing else, you're able to create so much with just adding the music on top of it.
Yeah.
Incredible. Another one, very similar, Skyrim. It is,
of course,
50 to 80 something songs that are awesome. It's again, world building. You have what, 3 games before this one.
I've only ever played Skyrim. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry to all the fans.
Sorry, yeah. I've only really done the same. If you've played the series, if you're in like beforehand, you have so many references to years and years of gameplay and of memories that you've created with yourself and other people, and they just harken that and put that in, and it's just jam-packed with so much stuff.
That one I feel is like iconic in a way.
Yeah,
of soundtracks
yeah.
For video games.
Very much so. And again, because it's world building, you have so much. There's so much emotion.
Yeah.
Not only in each song, but just in the album itself, because you're in so many different places, doing so many different things.
I really like the term world building. I feel like it describes what the point you're trying to get across completely.
Yes, for sure.
Like, It's not just doing one thing; it's doing all of the things.
Yes, and what's funny too, like again, if you're not a video game person, that's fine. You'll get this. But because
as long
there's
as you
different
like music.
Yeah. Even if it's structured in a level kind of way where you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's a sandbox game where you do whatever you want, the way that they're able to implement all of that is incredible. Through cutscenes of visual effects of you seeing the story that you're playing as well, on top of you just traveling to different locations and they're just splicing in music as you go.
Right.
For Skyrim, an example, sandbox game, you're able to do whatever you want. And so to transition from city to city and then to walk along and then to be introduced into a combat or another event and that music just seamlessly comes through and changes the tone, it's almost this one big, 40-hour song that you're listening to.
It's world building.
Yes, again, so good, so good. It really puts you in the story that you're trying to create. Another one similar to this is The Witcher. I have a big problem with The Witcher soundtrack, though. It feels like he did it all on a computer and in a studio, and he didn't really use real horns and stuff, which makes me a little bit upset. But,
I've only seen
again,
the TV
it's
show.
so good. The TV show?
I've only seen the TV show.
TV show is also really good.
The Witcher is one of those games where it's like, it's just so long.
It is.
Like I can't get into it.
It's
man.
bad. I still haven't finished it.
I'm an FPS kind of guy for sure when it comes to video games. I like to watch people play story video games. I actually watch. We were just talking about it before the podcast started. I watched Kendall play 60
of 80 hours.
60-something hours of Dark Souls because I'm not going to play Dark Souls.
No.
That's just not happening.
It's bad.
But I'll watch Kendall play Dark Souls.
And what's good, again, Dark Souls is
rage.
every single time. Yes, facts. Every single time you go into a boss fight or you're going through this world, Dark Souls is super vague about the story of the game.
Yeah.
They give you like 3 words and then they're like, good luck figuring this out. But the music does such
fight.
Yeah. They do such a good job. You get games that are older, like arcade games, NES games, like those, fighter games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. You get those, which are super, like, if you think of video game music, that's what you get.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like a soundtrack.
Less world building.
Yes, less world building.
No, just like we're fighting right now.
Yeah, but again, that does such a great job of amping you up.
Gets you into the fight. You're like,
yes.
I'm fighting right now. Like, I'm fighting right now.
I'm doing it. Let's do it. It is.
It's like great workout music. You're just like, oh.
Yes, facts. Honestly, okay, if you're doing like a heavy lift day, just put on the God of War like opening theme for like 8 hours, and you're just gonna feel like the biggest person ever.
You could just have the whole build up like as your warm up, and then when it gets to that, just
lifting.
You're at war.
Yeah. But it is, and not only does it stick you into the story, but you are attached to the characters, if not being the characters that you're playing.
I feel like I'm about to go off on like a completely different tangent, but I'll just make it a little bit quicker. I just genuinely don't understand how like some people can disrespect / put off video games as like parts of culture or parts of like things that people can enjoy. Like
it's
specifically like older people when they're like, oh, video games this and video games that. It's like I never in a TV show and this might just be me. I know that some people feel differently. I have never personally cried during a TV show or cried during a movie. It's just I don't get in and feel that sort of way.
Yeah.
But I have had a video game where they have a character that I've either played or literally watched grow up in the video game and like was a part of like growing like video games have come
very
so
attached.
far.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm not, it's not weird. I don't feel like this person is like kin to me, but I know a lot about this person that has been created.
And then they die, or they move on.
Or they move on. Yeah. The video games, there's so many different video games that do so many different things that like.
Plus, I mean,
death isn't always the problem. There's heartbreak in video games. Like
it's almost like watching a movie versus like oh shoot, where was I going? It's like
those like
watching a movie versus like reading a book or watching a TV series. You know. There's like it's a longer process. You're more involved. It's like watching I don't know. It's like watching Lord of the Rings and then reading Lord of the Rings. There's a big difference. You're spending hours and hours in both of these mediums.
Another thing, video games they've just come so far that it's like, yeah, I know that most video games, like I would say 90% of video games are like, there's a path, like you're going to start here and you're going to end here. How you get there might be a little bit differently, like the weapons you use and things like that.
Yeah.
But video games are becoming more and more, like way better and better at like making it where there's like several paths. Where like if I replay the game, it can be different, but it doesn't have to be completely different. It's like the path can switch at different parts, and I can go back and do different things. It's like the video games are advancing as they should, and they're making it just more
becoming
inclusive,
more in depth,
more like inclusive. Like you feel like you're there. Like
you
feel like your decision matters. You feel like when you play the game, like what you're doing has weight. It's not just
and again tying back
the same way.
Yes, and tying back to music, they make like this is why video game soundtracks are so long, is because they are making every single decision and whatever possibility that you want, they're able to put the music to accompany whatever you want to do.
Yeah, like a great game. I'm not really sure about the soundtrack. It's a horror game. It's called Until Dawn. It's like there's just like
so many things,
so many different like endings that can happen. It's like they're all around the same gist, and it's like I don't know. It's not like the best in the world, but it just shows like. You go back before, look at Mario. It's a one world. It starts here, it ends there every single time in the exact same way.
And again, going back to like what was the game you said?
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Similar to The Witcher. The Witcher has a lot of different avenues that you can go down, lots of side things that you can do, and there's like a whole nother game that you can play in the game. It's dumb. It's the card game that they play.
Oh yeah.
That whole card game has like hours of music attached to it. Hours and hours of music. It's ridiculous. Like if I were to listen to the Witcher soundtrack, I want to listen to the Gwent soundtrack, like the game inside the game. I want to listen to that one.
Speaking of game inside a game, look at games like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2
that have
like several games inside of games. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 has like arcade machines. Like,
just dumb things.
Red Dead Redemption 2 has like different types of like card games and like checkers and chess and things like that. It's just I remember I saw this article online long time ago, back when the newest Far Cry game came out.
Yep.
And there was just like an actual group of people that would fish in Far Cry for hours. That's all they did in the game. They were just like, I just love to go fish. Who wants to go out and buy a rod and bait and this and this one? I can just go into Far Cry and fish, man. Got my fish.
It's similar
crazy.
to like the newest game, like Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing that,
Definitely.
and they just grind like one thing. And Animal Crossing is similar because you're in this serene world.
Definitely.
You're just chilling out, and there's a lot of music attached to that.
Think back to like Farmville, man. Like people on Facebook, people just just love to get in there and just
do monotonous things.
Yeah, just be happy. Like there are games that I've seen people play this game. I've never played it myself. There is a game where like the whole point of the game is you buy a house, you flip the house, like you paint it, you buy new furniture.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You make it look good, and then you sell it for more money. But it's a video game.
Yeah, so it's like
you start with like you start with like $500,000, and they're like, you beat the game when you have $2 billion, when you flipped so many houses. It's just like, but people are like, I love this. I just painted 6 walls, waited for them to dry, and then put curtains up. My house value has gone up tremendously. This is incredible. You look around, their house is just like god awful terrible. But that's the best part about video games, man. You're not in your house. You're in your video game house.
It's very in depth. It's similar to like it's like similar to casinos. Like the slot machines, like they have music attached to them, and music does so much to draw you in and keep you there. Yeah, it's why people spend a lot of things on slot machines.
Anytime that like music is a part of it, the music is creating a new emotion.
Yes,
and without the music, it would be a different experience.
Yeah,
and that goes for anything.
It's similar to like how a lot of people don't like watching golf versus like. Basketball or the NFL, like they have music attached to things. There's a lot of things to keep you occupied. It's high intensity. Going back to games that I really love. So let's say that you just spent this entire time being like, this is not a topic that I care about. And let's say you're into drum corps and this is what you're wanting. There are a couple games, there's several, that use such a good jazz soundtrack.
Ooh.
Jazz is one favorite of mine. On top of that, they use it a lot in drum corps now. It's a lot in drum corps in general, years past. And jazz is such an epitome of drum corps.
Oh yeah.
There is so many good jazz songs that are created by who knows what, but they're just for video games, and people just don't know.
Yeah.
Examples: Cuphead. It's a I don't like this game. It's so hard. It's stupid hard.
I like Cuphead.
I know.
It's a pretty good game.
It's a good game. It's set in a rubber hose, like old style cartoon visual effect, and then on top of that, they have like that old style of jazz to play along with it. And you're gonna play these bosses like 90 times because it's so hard.
You're gonna hear the music.
Yes,
a million times.
and you're gonna get used to it. But it's so
it is really
good. And they have live supreme jazz cats playing all of this music, and it's
crazy.
hard stuff. It's good charts. It's solid, well done.
Like if you showed like a jazz musician these pieces, or like somebody who's into jazz these pieces, like not talking about a video game,
yes,
it would just be like, that's a good piece. What's it called?
Facts. Yeah,
like
it's a good chart. It looks
it's
good.
a really good chart.
It's
all
incredible.
Of them are good charts.
All
there
of
are
them.
Several.
Like the brass section is stupid. There's one. Oh my god! It has this Barry sax solo in the very beginning. It's honking. It's baller. Another one similar to jazz, L.A. Noire. L.A. Noire is
Definitely.
a detective game. They play 50s or 40s.
I watched you play that too.
Yeah, it was a good game. It's 50s and 40s detective work, and they have a ton of 50s, 40s style, like bar room, like smoky bar jazz.
That's a really good.
And it's so good.
Like the olden movies when like you walk into the bar and it's just like
yeah,
just like I don't even know. I'm not gonna try and like imitate it, but it's just like really, that's a really good description of like what it's like. Those like the suits,
you're here for the money. You see
the suits and the hats, and you have the music in the background.
Like when fedoras were good.
Oh yeah. Fedoras are still good.
No. You're wrong.
Don't wear fedoras.
Just
Please don't
incorrect.
Don't wear.
But like, it's world building. It's putting you back in time, and it's throwing you back to the 40s and 50s.
The fact that when you said like the bar and stuff, and I had just like this image in my head immediately.
Yes.
It's like that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and you can listen to this and visualize that.
It's crazy, man.
Another one, we were talking about chill music, relaxing things that we can just listen to for hours on end, is cartoony games, things that are fictional and lighthearted. Zelda is a great example. All of those soundtracks are awesome.
It's
from
like
most of the games are pretty great.
Yeah.
But there's one specifically, the newest one, Breath of the Wild, excuse me, semi-new. I think there's another one that came out. It is incredible. If
it wasn't hyped enough, I'm not playing it. It's how it's got to be.
I looked at the playlist on YouTube. It's like 200 something songs, and it's 30-second bites to 7-minute songs, and it's every single decision that you can make. It's little tunes that decide, like a classic is whenever you open a chest in Zelda, there's this theme music that comes on, and he like holds up the item that you just got up, and it's great. It's incredible. And just small things like that just make this whole thing, it's incredible. It shoves you into this cartoony, excellent world. It's awesome. Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, such a good soundtrack.
Man, it feels bad for deaf people. My heart actually goes out. Obviously.
I don't.
Why are you laughing, Kendall?
Was it Beethoven deaf, or was that Mozart? I think it was Beethoven. I don't know. Look at us, prime musicians. We don't even know our history.
I took 4 years of high school music.
I don't think that counts.
Not at all.
Oh well. And okay, again, when people are like, there's a big meme that's going around where they just hate people who are like, hey, what kind of music do you listen to? And they're all like, anything. Like those types of people. Personally, I listen to every type of music. Like there's in every genre.
Say it.
What?
Except country.
No. That's the thing. In every genre, there's one artist or there's one album that is supreme. And it's really good.
I have an opinion on this. I have
okay.
Not like what you just said. It has to do with what you just said, but I've said what I'm about to say several times to several people. And I have come to terms with the fact that every single artist, in every, like, no matter who you are, as long as you have a smidgen of talent, just you have to, like, obviously there's just some people out there that they just don't got it. Okay? Feels bad to be those people. Like,
Okay.
Like, I'm not gonna try and name you off my head because I don't listen to them.
Wow, so arrogant.
Well, I'm not gonna listen to them if they're bad, Kendall. Come on. Same with this podcast. Don't listen if it's bad. Anyway, if you have a smidgen of talent, you have at least one bop. And the artist that I give to, for an example of this, to all of my friends, this is just a personal opinion of mine. I don't know who has heard this person, but it's I don't even know what genre they're technically called, but it's a group called Limp Bizkit. Terrible
Limp
group.
Bizkit is disgusting.
I don't like their music, but they got like 2 songs that when they come on, I'm like, okay, whatever. It's on.
I'm vibing.
It's on. You know, they're good enough to make me go, who is this? And when you say Limp Bizkit, I'm like, nah.
No way.
But I think Limp Bizkit is just not okay. I'm not gonna say it's garbage. If you like Limp Bizkit, I like you still, but I don't like Limp Bizkit. Okay, I just don't. But they got a couple songs that are all right. And like a friend of mine is just hates Cardi B for whatever reason. He just hates Cardi B. His name is Dylan.
Got it.
I was determined. I was like, she's got one song that makes you groove. She does. And sure enough, we listened to her whole discography one time during class.
Jeez.
Well, it's not that big. It's Cardi B. We listened to her whole discography, and there was one song that was like, you know, he was like, that verse was pretty cool. And I was like, it was pretty cool, wasn't it, Dylan? Sorry, Cardi B.
God. That was good.
I stuck
that
up for
was
you.
Good.
I stuck up for you. I made my friend listen to your entire discography.
And okay, that's the thing. When it comes to music, and especially as a musician, you have to be able to appreciate every genre. And I say that wholeheartedly, like genuinely. There are genres that need to be appreciated because they're underappreciated, or they have an image, or they assume what that genre is. And going back to Cardi B, not because of the genre, but people hear Cardi B, like just the name, and they're like, they associate it with something.
Yeah.
You know? Same thing with like the Beatles. You hear the Beatles and you associate it with something, like a memory or an emotion or your opinion.
Something.
Yes. And one thing that whenever you hear metal, you hear there's a lot of people who just don't like it. They don't like the vocals. They don't like the heaviness of it.
Yeah.
And they can't appreciate it. I didn't like metal for the longest time. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like the vocals. The vocals turned me off. I didn't want to listen to people
scream. Are you talking
about
like hard metal or like newer metal, like more soft?
Both.
Okay.
Newer metal. You're talking about like Chon or something?
I don't know any specific groups because I don't listen to it, but I know that I don't even know if it's newer or older. If you want to be honest, I don't want to say anything wrong, but I know that there's like metal where it's like it's just harder. It's just genuine, like it's just rough, like it's like going in metal. But there's also metal that's a little bit
chill.
Less, not chill. It's metal, but it's just less. Like it's like, oh,
that makes sense.
This guy's gonna kill me if I met him in person.
But again, going back to video game music and soundtracks, there is one game, again, very brutal, discretion advised. Doom.
I was about to say, is it Doom?
It's Doom. And if you listen to Doom's soundtrack, one, it's all instrumental, so there's no vocals. That was probably my favorite point. I don't like metal with vocals. I like my Mastodon. I like my Converge. There's 2 that are like okay that I'll listen to. But like Doom has such an incredible soundtrack. It's insane. It gets you amped up. It's solid. If you were to put like this to like a stand tune, or if you were to make some metal into stand tunes, one, for drumline, it's good. It's good because you have drummers who are incredible at what they do. Double basses. You got incredible riffs. Fills that are stupid crazy, and you put that on a snare drum or split it among a bass line, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And the fact that a lot of people don't listen to that or don't even acknowledge it as a good form of music is bad. I felt the same way about country.
Sorry, just real quick.
No, go for it.
Before you go in about country.
I don't think I will.
I had my middle school band director.
Yes.
She was fantastic. She told me once when she was talking to me about college and her college experience and yada yada yada. She told me once that she had a professor that said like, you don't dislike any genre, you just don't understand it.
Wow, that's very good. I like that wording.
I don't know I don't know, like, because you hear people like say like, oh, rap is whatever, but then like you have like these rap artists that are just super lyrical and like it's just poems
very,
but to a
very
rhythm.
in depth.
So there was a specific genre of I don't know if it was classical music or just something that she was playing on her horn. She plays a euphonium.
Yes.
There was a specific genre that she hated playing, and she told that to her professor. And her professor, he was like, "Oh, you hate that genre? Well, you're going to be doing assignments on that genre for the next 6 months of your life." Sorry,
That's such
about
a teacher
it.
thing to do.
So she said by the end of it, she genuinely, not just like saying it to get out of doing that genre. She said, "I now not only like this genre, but I respect it and understand it."
Exactly.
And she said it was the most cliche and just like, you know, you don't dislike any genre, you just don't understand it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's just 100% the truth. And
I agree. Like, if you listen to Animals as Leaders is a great, great group. They're, again, metal. They're math metal. They're super, super hard. If you want a great workout routine, put that crap on. Dude. Granted, don't do that because I almost passed out because it doesn't sync up. It's all where I'm getting at. Sorry. I'm very excited about Animals as Leaders. It is all – there's a ton of multimeter stuff in their music. It's 2 guitarists and a drum set player, and the drum set player is insanity. He's stupid good. And then both the guitarists are – the amount of things that they are able to do with the amount of strings and like this weird hunk of wood is stupid. I just don't know. Listening to Animals as Leaders and hearing all of these, polyrhythms, all of these multimeter songs, but in metal is dumb. It's so good. It's so good. And going back to Doom, they do the exact same thing. And, well, if you've ever played Doom, it's brutal, and it's all about killing demons. And so whenever you're thinking about, picking up a gun and killing demons, you want something heavy.
Yeah, just imagine yourself running down a hallway, blasting demons. What do you hear? What music are you hearing?
It's metal.
It's metal.
And it goes hard.
And it's going crazy.
It goes hard. That whole game is just adrenaline and testosterone. Just
I've never played
system.
I've never played the new Doom, but I definitely played the old one with the,
the classic?
Yeah, with the gun in the center, and it's just you walk and you move like this, and I
Those
definitely
terrible sound effects.
Yeah, I've definitely played that one, and if I remember, I was really young. The soundtrack wasn't
It wasn't stellar.
It wasn't stellar, and I don't even the thing is I don't remember the soundtrack, which is just completely different with Doom because I've never even played it, but I've heard about it and looked up the soundtrack.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, when it comes to music, you're gonna have to be able to listen to every genre to be able to appreciate it, and I guarantee you're gonna find an artist that you genuinely like. Like, for example, going back to country, there are a few people that I thoroughly enjoy in that genre, but I don't like a lot of it.
Yeah.
Sturgill Simpson, a great example. He put out an album that was country, but it was also rock, and it was new age rock. It was weird. And then they added electronics to it. It's called Sound and Fury or Sound of Fury. I don't remember. And they put a whole anime to it. It was 40, 50 minutes long. You can watch it on Netflix too. It's this whole anime that they did. Incredible. But again, it's all country. It's you hear it from beginning to end. Such a good album. And it ties back to video games. There's a lot of people who, one, just don't play video games, don't like them. There's a lot of people who are older and don't understand them.
Yeah.
There's
which is why I personally appreciate. I'm sorry for cutting you off again.
No.
I personally appreciate the YouTube and Twitch, the streaming and other things that have to do with video games. I appreciate that so much. And you have people out there that are like, why watch it? Just play it. It's different. Yeah. But it's this is just me. I'm an 18-year-old. I play video games all the time. I've spent too much of my life in video games. I don't like sitting down and the story, like Red Dead Redemption 2. I bought it myself. I heard it was great, and I just couldn't get 3 hours into it because it's just not what I do.
Yeah.
I don't sit down and grind a story. There are very few games that the story just captivates me so much.
Yes.
I have Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
That story was one of the few games.
And again, excellent soundtrack.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts has an excellent soundtrack. Anyway, but I watch my best friend, and when my best friend isn't available, I watch people just online play video games, and it just helps bring there are so many people out there that probably don't like playing video games, anything about it, but they can watch because it's like watching a movie.
Yes, yeah. Or again, a TV series. It's
Yeah.
your
TV series is better.
Yeah, it's almost like listening to a podcast. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't understand the world. Sometimes you want someone else's opinion, and watching someone else play video games, or again, listening to the soundtrack gives you insight to the story without having to go through those hours of playing it. Granted, sometimes you just don't have time. Again, you may not like it. Blah blah blah. All those different reasons why you don't enjoy video games. Listening to the soundtrack is essential, especially as a musician, because a lot of times you have these composers that spend hours and hours, like months of their life, preparing and crafting this music tied to a game.
Yeah.
And then you have all of these like incredible studio musicians who come in and just ball out on these soundtracks. Like, for example, if you hear the Skyrim opening theme, it's
iconic.
It's iconic.
It is
it's
iconic.
a meme, and it's overplayed. But if you listen to it, and I didn't know this, again, the deeper that you dive into music, the better it gets. I was listening to it, again, overplayed. So I kind of got it, like, it just didn't grab onto me. And then I looked on how it was made. The director put together the song. They not only had to so they wanted like a choir singing whatever. They wanted a tale of a short story of whatever the game was about, but they wanted it in the language in the game.
Yeah.
So they wanted this fictional language, but they wanted it to make sense in English on top of they wanted it sung by a choir. That's a high demand. You got to create this fictional language, but then you have to make it make sense in English. You got to translate it, and then you have to make it fit within a musical context. That's a lot. And then on top of that, you got to put a whole soundtrack behind this choir.
It sounds impossible.
It sounds impossible,
like
and it also sounds dumb.
If you told like a random, like even me, like I took 4 years of high school, blah 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 blah. I consider myself good. Well, I can play an instrument. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, I know comparative to an amateur professional, I'm just trash, you know. But I have some kind of knowledge about the topic. And if they were like,
Yes.
"Yo, I'll give you $2 million to compose some form of music in a different language, but it has to be sung by a
again.
choir," I'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool." And they'd be like, "Oh, by the way, I don't mean different language. You have to make a new one."
Yeah, that's insane to me.
I'd be like, "Oh, okay, never mind. I'm not doing that."
One,
How?
again, that feat alone is incredible. You have to make these make sense. You have to make them fit into this musical context, and then you listen to it. They got an all-male choir, and they got some of the biggest dudes, and they all drop them in octaves. And so, not digitally, but they are bass singers.
Yeah.
Incredible. As far as the layering, the chords, the structure, it's stupid good. And then on top of that, they were like, hey, we got to make this bigger. And so they just literally copied and pasted and layered them. So they have a 30-person male choir, and then they layered them again 3 times. So they have a 90-person choir. And it's again, Norse god, like that kind of Viking-esque. It's incredible. And listening to it with that in mind is stupid good. Again, like, my heart goes out to all of these video game composers who don't get enough traction, either because video game people don't understand music or vice versa. Music people don't understand video games.
Let's be real here. My heart goes out to composers who don't get enough recognition, man. Like, you know how many people saw like Avengers Endgame and didn't realize how much the music affected how much they liked that movie?
Yes.
Like
Thank you.
Not one person. Okay. Not one person, because I'm sitting here doing it right now.
Yeah.
But the majority of people didn't come out of Avengers Endgame like,
The
damn,
soundtrack.
damn.
Yeah.
That soundtrack had me scared, man. Like, they were like, Captain America, help. I almost spoiled
You
it.
almost did it.
But is it really? I'm
too
courteous.
It's still too.
I'm courteous.
Don't do it.
I love you guys.
Okay. Again, great. If you listen to, and again, going back to this idea that we're world building, that we're creating something, we're attaching music to a story. One, if you ever get a chance to buy Masterclass or to listen to someone else's Masterclass, I don't know how you feel about the app, but that doesn't matter. There is a Masterclass by Hans Zimmer, incredible composer. If you get a chance to listen to how he goes through creating a movie for a soundtrack, it's incredible. One, he made the soundtrack to one of my favorite movies, is Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes, both of those movies, and another one coming out in 2021. I'm so excited for that. Sorry, side tangent.
Is that like for sure?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
didn't know that. That's awesome.
Big dub.
I like
right
those
there.
movies too, and I hate those people who are like, Sherlock Holmes, different. It's like, dude,
the TV show's better.
oh my god,
Benedict
It's like,
Cumberbatch.
yeah, the TV show is pretty good, but guess what's also pretty good? Those
The
movies.
movies.
And Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, that's so good. That
like-
being said,
I don't know. It's just completely. It's completely different. That just irks me when people are like, "But it's not like the original." It's like,
That's
then
like-
don't look at it as the original. Just look at it as something good.
it's a cover,
Yeah, I can.
kind of.
Like, I do agree that sometimes you can destroy it, and you can
Yes.
make it. You can
you can not
smear
honor.
it. You could smear its name, and that's when I don't like that. But if you're like, I really like this, but here's my creative image. That's like the point of being a director
Facts.
or whatever you are.
Yes.
Is to put your creative image on it.
and
Whatever.
that's exactly what music does.
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
you're not telling a story. You're not using dialogue. You're not using visual images.
I would
You
s-
are using notes.
I would say you are telling a story.
Well, yes, but you're not doing so in the conventional means.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
doing so through music.
Another thing about that,
Yeah.
about this whole topic, which I feel like has gone on a long time, but
Honestly,
it's a lot of
screw
juice.
it. That's this whole podcast.
yeah. It's a lot, and it's about music, which is
It pertains.
the biggest part.
It's fine.
Anyway, when it comes to different types of music, like language-wise,
Yeah.
like people like K-pop and people like Hispanic music, and they don't even speak like a lick of either of those languages, and you have those haters that are just like,
I can't listen to it because I don't know the language.
yeah, well,
Yes.
you have people like that, and it's whatever. You have your opinion and stuff, but I'm talking about like the actual people who are like, you don't even know the language, you don't even know what they're saying.
So they're hating on the
They're
people that
literally-
listen to it.
They're hating. They're haters.
Yes.
And my argument to that is because I have like, I grew up. My older brother is half Hispanic. My mom lived in Mexico for however many years. I grew up and there were a couple Spanish songs that she would put on randomly, and I was a little kid. I was vibing. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
it's good music.
Yeah, and
Good music.
When you go to a concert, a classical concert, like just
Yes.
the normal setup or orchestra or whatever, you don't know what they're saying, but they're
No.
telling a story, and you
Yes.
enjoy that.
Yes.
When I listen to K-pop,
Yep.
when I listen to Hispanic music, I don't know what they're saying, but it's making me feel some type of way.
Again, one, language is universal.
Yeah, music is universal.
Yes, thank you. But again, going back to our quote from
Language is universal.
sorry.
Everywhere there is a language.
Going back to our teacher, our old teacher, you don't dislike this genre. You just don't understand.
Yeah,
it.
that's
and,
all it
and
is.
again, it's the same way. Like people just don't listen to enough music. There's so much out there. You got so much free music. You could put it on your
Yeah.
phone illegally.
If I had a nickel, if I had a nickel for every time my band director in high school complained to me how hard it was for him to listen to music when he was young compared to how hard it is for me to listen to
You'd
music.
be a millionaire.
Yeah,
you
I
really
would be a millionaire. I would be a millionaire because, and it's not like the point he's trying to make is like not valid or whatever. It's,
Yes.
he said it however many times. It doesn't matter. But you used to not be able to go to YouTube at any time
No,
and listen to the music.
YouTube didn't exist.
And I know I'm only 18 and I can only have so many opinions on this and so many ways to think about it. But it's like I feel so. Music has changed me as a person in like
Facts.
so many ways that I can't even describe, that I probably don't even know. I couldn't pinpoint if I tried.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have that if I didn't have all this access.
Agreed.
Obviously.
If we really want to, if we want to add layers to this, video game soundtracks to movies to actual orchestras, jazz bands, going into drum corps, going into the marching arts, you cannot have dialogue. If you do, it's sung, but even then, it's tied to the music that you're using.
I was about to say, didn't you guys have dialogue in last year's show?
We did. You don't have.
You didn't win.
Wow, L throwing jabs already.
It's got burned. Episode 3, remember it. Jeez.
It's okay,
That's
whatever.
gonna sting next year.
Still, world class.
Next year.
We didn't win a ring, but we'll do it.
Next year. I'll be there.
That's fine.
Just hire me. I play trombone.
Get out of here. Again, tying this into drum corps, like you don't have access to letting people know like what the story is that you're trying to create.
Yeah.
You could put a title on it. You could try through words or the song, but like for example, there's a lot of corps that do abstract shows. There's a lot of marching bands that do abstract shows. Like there's not a specific theme or story that they're trying to tell, you know?
Yeah.
Like with Boston Crusaders did Goliath last year. They were telling the story of Goliath, which was very apparent that with the music that they did, with the costumes, everything. But like, for example, Blue Devils, they do a lot of like abstract stuff. You have no, what's a ghost light? What is it, dude?
What's a ghost light?
Okay. Anyways, drum corps is that same vibe.
You sounded a little salty there, man.
No, not at all.
Oh.
I was just,
I don't know.
Whatever.
It's whatever.
Get out of my head. Again, drum corps and marching arts is very, very similar. Like, it's underappreciated because of the medium that it's put on. No one wants to go into a football stadium and sweat and watch these people run around and critique the music that they're playing a cover of. You know?
Yeah.
They're like, this is not classical music, or this is not the epitome of jazz, and it's not. But it is a different medium to tell the story, and it's incredible, and it
100%.
should be appreciated. Not only that, but drum corps has everything that we just talked about. You have a story that you can buy into. You have a story that you're telling visually through the sets that you create, through the artistry, through the set,
the emotions that
the
you
emotions,
guys are portraying.
yes, the flags, the uniforms, everything.
Like I don't know, but like some people may not like the way you guys are like looking.
Yes,
like, even like the way you're like smiling at some points or frowning at some points just has
you are
substantial effect on how I'm feeling, because you have sometimes there's big jumbotrons, especially like they show it in movie theaters now.
Yes,
and there's close-ups of people's faces. And imagine if they had like you guys would just have this grueling song of just like maybe something talking about somebody dying, and it zooms in on a color guard person's face who's kind of smiling because she thought of a joke. It would just completely ruin the whole effect.
And that's why we've departed from shakos a lot, or we take them off during songs. Drum corps is very similar. You are projecting this story, this idea, and again, harkening back to video games, it all ties together. Music is one big spider web of material, and it is such an efficient way to tell a story. And if you're going in thinking that
efficient's a good word.
Yes, it's
because you don't there is no language.
Yes. Yeah,
anybody from any part of the world
can
hear a song and be like, that song makes me sad.
Yes, and there's a lot of like you remember in high school when there were those nerds who listened to like, I don't know, the sea shanties from like Assassin's Creed 4, or like they listened to like the Celtic music that they liked or whatever, and it was like weird because it wasn't what was popular, and high school kids just like tear each other apart anyways, like. It's very similar. You have to appreciate every level of music. You just really do.
Well, never mind.
Okay.
It took me a minute for me to catch up. That last sentence is pretty much what I was going to say. Like, I appreciated them appreciating music. So, like,
yes,
they weren't nerds to me, man.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And really, again, whatever medium it is, it tells a compelling story. And if you're going in as a musician, you can't discredit another genre or version or medium of music.
You can't discredit any form of music, really,
no.
In my opinion. Like, there are some types of music that I think
you can critique it.
Yeah,
but
discredit is different than critiquing.
And I think that critiquing is the specific song or the artist.
You can even dog on it.
Yes.
In an opinionated way. Like, that sounds like garbage.
But the genre of music that you're creating, very different.
Yeah. You can't say, like, that is garbage, in my opinion. Like, I know that that's different. Like, when somebody might say that is garbage, I mean that sounds like garbage.
Yeah.
But, like, there are some people out there who are like, the genre of country is actually just bad. Like,
and I was that person for a long time.
I don't know. Let us know. Is it an everywhere in the world thing where people say, I like everything but country? Because I've only ever lived in this area of Georgia for my entire life. Well, my life that I can remember. And it's just like...
A lot of people hate it.
I would say like it's 9 times out of 10 when you walk to somebody on the street and you say, hey, what type of music do you listen to? They'll say everything but country. Like,
yes.
It's
common.
It's
easy to hate it. But again, I was that way
and
for
I live
a long
in Georgia.
time. Yeah.
Like,
facts.
like, do people up north like country? Like,
don't-
where's the country coming from? I live in Georgia. Like, who's listening to it?
You remember? I think it was the first episode that we made fun of Texas country. It's weird because I haven't listened to it,
did.
I did. Yes, and I did not. I don't understand it.
I love you, Texas. My grandpa lives in Texas.
My pappy. Good grief. Again, it really is. You really have to appreciate it. You have to dive into, and you can't discredit it because one artist did it poorly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like you said, one artist, if they're good enough, if they have the talent, and if
Anything.
people like them, there's one portion that you can appreciate.
Even, and I know that I said earlier they have a song or they have at least one bop, but
Even if it's just a portion
verse.
of that song.
a verse.
Yes.
Or one thing. Like I said, when it came to Cardi B and my friend, I found one verse where he was like, she kind of slapped there. And like,
Yeah.
that's all I was looking for.
Facts.
It's like some sort of appreciation where you can't, any real musician who's trying, and like I said, has talent, because there's some people out there,
They just
God rest their soul,
They don't have the skill.
they just don't got it. They just don't, you don't see, I'm not in the NFL because
That's
I just,
a no from me, dog.
I just don't got it. Okay. Anyway, it's just like making him appreciate that one verse / one line that was awesome. It's
Yep.
just like that is important to me because
Yeah.
I feel like the ability to do that in things that you quote unquote don't enjoy is a very important part because
Plus, it just shows maturity
Yeah.
and character development in your
Definitely.
own self.
like
quick. Go ahead.
quick tangent. This is going back a little bit, but I feel like I had to say it, especially because you're in drum corps and everything. But
Whatever.
the thing about telling a story in drum corps, and the thing that makes it so impressive to me, isn't that because like in video games, you know, they have like, it's usually, there are video games that do it, but it's usually not like 70, 80 people, including a color guard and things like that,
Yes.
telling the story. It's however many musicians, little jazz, little like
Yeah,
whatever.
it's a little pod.
Yeah.
A little group.
The thing about drum corps that makes it so impressive to me is it's not just all of the horns of people that are on the field that are telling a story. You have all of the color guard people that are also telling a story. You have the drum major, who I believe
They're
is
different stories happening at once.
yeah.
Is what
You
you're
have
getting
the
at.
drum
Yeah.
major who's telling an intricate story in her emotions and or his emotions, and then you have like, you guys are telling your story, the way you like feel it
Yes.
and portray it.
Individual.
But you're also telling the story that was created for you guys by
Yes.
the people, by your coaches, or
individually, as a section, and as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
It's very diverse, very layered.
it is incredible and impressive, obviously.
Yeah, agreed. Well, thank you guys for listening to our biggest rant ever. I think just on one topic.
Appreciate music,
Yeah,
folks.
facts. Granted, we had I think we had a high school appreciation, like a music appreciation, like class in high school. I don't think you should teach that in high school. High schoolers don't have like the maturity level to do that. I don't think personally.
I don't feel like it can really be taught. In a
Yeah,
way,
you really have to just dive into
in
it
a way,
yourself.
if you appreciate music,
You can't put
you
like a-
appreciate music.
Yeah, you can't put a grade to that. Oh well, music is incredible. I don't know. Go listen to video game music. Play more video games. Be lazy. We're here to be sandbags, people. What else do you expect?
We're here to sandbag.
Yeah, that's been on my playlist. Video game soundtracks have been in my head all day. Guys, thank you so much. It's podcast number 3. We're really rocking it. Maybe
Having fun.
It's the third terrible show in a row.
Third of many.
Yeah, third of many.
Third of many.
If you will, if you like us, if you're vibing with what we're doing, dude, follow us. We got anywhere and everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Our main deal is Instagram. Come see us. Come check us out. We'll have some clips. We'll have some stuff. Plus, we'll just have updates on whatever's going on.
And make sure to send us stuff. Don't forget.
Facts. I was about to get into that.
Tweets.
If you have like, again,
Anything.
it doesn't have to deal with the show. If you have recommendations or like just, hey, I like this, send it to us. We want to know. We want to hear what our community is thinking about. Just because, I don't know, we can tie into our show. Review us if you can. If you want to. If you like the show, whatever. You can subscribe. You could do that. This is not a have to. I don't know. Screw it. Whatever you want to do. YouTube is our video version if you want to see our disgusting faces and watch us take drinks and stare at things off camera.
I don't think I've drink one this time.
I don't think you have. Maybe need to hydrate, William.
Ooh, here I go.
You can find us on Apple. You can find us on Spotify. YouTube as well, anywhere you find podcasts. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.